Hello and welcome back to another Demis Hellen tutorial. We're going to look at the one note technique that I always use, and I'm going to brand this the Demis Hellen one note technique, which is where you take a single note and then we start to build from that singular note just by playing or just drawing in and getting a bit of a vibe off it and just let it take you somewhere, which is how most of my music is created. I'll just be messing around on a piano and I'll just think that that sounds nice and I'll whack that in there and it develops into something like this. So I'll just let you have a quick listen. So as you can hear, that is just a singular note, and then there's a bit of a melody varying from it, and obviously built some chords from that as well. And this is going to require a couple of things: an understanding of scales and just general notation. So I'm just going to take an assumption that you already know this. There is plenty of videos prior to this one that cover how to get a grip over chords and scales and stuff like that. So you can use scales-chords.com. That is always in the description for the videos, so you can go over there and use that. You can just punch in the notes and things and it'll tell you what scale it's likely to be related to. So, the one note technique. So I'm going to pick a note off here, which would help if we was using a synth. That will do. And we are going to drag it over here just in case I use this automation here. So if you're wondering, the music is for a showreel for my film channel. So if you are interested in drone videos and things like that, that is the place to be. So I'll leave a link to that as well. So the one note technique. There we are. So we'll use that note. Let's just record something in. I'm going to record it in the same style as what we've just heard as well. Okay, that is that. Let's just get rid of that extra note that I put in there. And we're going to set the grid to 1/8 triplets because this is what I'm using. And I'll explain why I kind of use this one. So, if you listen to that, it's got a nice pace to it. It's got a bit of bounce in there, it's got a bit of character already, and it's just one note. And yes, it's down to sound design as well, so the preset you're using is going to give you a different vibe, and this one is cracking for this kind of really intense but slash epic feel to it. So, why would I choose that instead of just doing, say, straight eighths, which would be like this? So first things first, it does sound slower. There is a bit of a bigger spacing with the triplets. We could slow the tempo down there, so we could drop the tempo a little bit there so we can match it. But you can hear it's just dum 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 dum. It's just very mechanical and unhuman-like, whereas the triplets doesn't sound much there, but if we take back that to 111 BPM and put them back in, it sounds a lot more characteristic, it's got a lot more character in it. And then we can add the same note on the top. So you can start building rhythms out of that straight away. So this is where I start. And the bass, so we'll put this up an octave, and the bass is going to be on a C. So we're creating basically a C minor chord there. But we're just using them two notes, the first two, the root note, and then the third note there. Okay, so we've got a nice sound already generating there. Oops. What is going on with these keyboard shortcuts? Okay, we'll do that again. There we are. Alright, and that is the basis. So then from there on, I'll just see what notes deviate. There we are, that's the scale. Okay, so let's have a listen to. There we are. We have something already. Let's just add this onto the top and then we'll show you what's going on. Got to get the pacing right here. Start from there. So let's do this again. Sometimes my brain doesn't engage. Okay, so this is a practical thing that's happening here. So you'll hear that melody. It sounds quite pleasing to the ear. Let's just quantize that. Okay, and we have that note. Oops, that note at the beginning here. Okay, so you'll see a pattern emerging here. We've duplicated the original note and we've put it an octave above to start a melodic idea. And then I've used my fractal technique. So this is covered in a previous video. I'll put it on screen now, covering fractals and how you can use that in music. There's going to be a few more videos in the future on that as well. But we can see here that we use this B flat, A flat, and then we use the A flat and B flat, but down below, but the opposite way. So it's a reflection of what's actually just happened in the previous bar. And that is technically what they start to call fractals, where patterns emerge and things like that. So have a look at that video if you want to. But that makes things easier because you've got the same note in the middle, and then you've got them two on that side, and then those on the other side, which creates that nice little pace. And it just gives you a really nice sense of where this is going to go. So we can now duplicate that. So we've got the original idea to hand, and we'll change the bass. So let's just have a mess around here. And I can already hear that's going to go to the E flat there, and that's going to go to the F or possibly the B flat. We'll see what happens there. Sounds really, really nice. That's actually pleasantly surprising that this has come straight off the top of my head. So let's just try the B flat up there. And there you go. Suddenly you have this nice track that's already building, and all we're doing is the single note technique. Okay, so how can we develop this further? We can start making chords that move underneath. So this is a full section here, so we will glue that together. And we'll copy it over, and we're going to remove this top section, and we're going to remove those notes. And we're going to use these bass notes as our chords. So let's copy. Let's just select that. So copy those. Make sure at the start of the bar, paste them, and we're going to put them up a note. So we've still got the bass notes there, but now we've got chords. So I'll separate them up here so you can see they are definitely not attached in terms of the chords, so you can see it a bit easier. I'm going to create chords. So obviously the C minor chord was first, so we know that is going to go there. So we know now that we don't have this B. This B's flattened, so we're going to have a C. And then here we are going to have our G, and we're going to have D. So let's just see how that first bit sounds. Okay, so working very nice. We'll apply the same here, and then this is where the chords change at the end. So we've got the F and the G sharp, which I think is fine. So let's just drop down them an octave to make it a little bit easier on the ears. And we could make that a little bit more epic by having that there doubled maybe. Which would come with the melodic sequence there. So if we was to take this back, let's listen to what this sounds now like with the melody there. So let's just put that an octave above because it's overlapping a bit too much. Okay, so the singular note up here then doesn't work because we've got a flattened D. So let's just try that chord instead. Much better. So you don't even have to move these notes up here, just adjust that chord because we know that's the starting note that we had. And it's the basis for all these chords. So you can see how we're developing, and these would be used on different channels. Different instruments would be attached, so like you'd have a bass down here. Many of you will know that I use my Pluck Stars preset within Massive here, which is free. Head over to the website. Links always in the description for that as well, where you can get these free presets. Pluck Stars Heaven version 2 and version 1 are in there, and it's a good starting point because it's got a lot of low end detail that's very clear and audible, as well as the top end. So if we listen here, we've still got quite a lot of detail, but it's not overpowering. So we'll use this 8th triplet and we'll just follow this bass, and we'll introduce a little bit more movement, and it just gives you a nice starting point to hear if that track's going to work for you or not. So that goes to D, and then that goes to F. Okay, so now we have this. It's got a nice little pace at the bottom. And we can turn the close the filter down. So now you can hear my style starting to come out of there. This is my non-trance work, and we can just start throwing some other elements in there, so like my signature drums that I always use here. So you can hear how all the elements start to stack up together. So that is the one note technique. You can apply that to anything. You can start building tracks. We can even build a different melody. Like you could just drag this over here. You can have there's all different melodies that you can create from just hovering over that note and just deviate a little bit. So many different things that you can do. Obviously, I'm just doing this off the top of my head now. And you know, strokes of luck only come once sometimes, and this was a nice stroke of luck. Just picking that key to start on, it draws inspiration straight away. If you pick another one that sounds like this, and it sounds a little bit tight and sounds like it's on the edge already. You need something that's a bit more minor that just gets you started, which gives you. So if you have your starting scale, then you can hear it and you can start manipulating some extra notes to see if that is the current mood that you're in, because it does depend on mood for me as well. So there you are. If you enjoyed the video, feel free to use that MIDI as well. But if you enjoyed the video, let me know in the comments down below. Leave us a like and also subscribe if you haven't already. 3 videos per week on various topics, including trance and music production techniques and tips. And finally, please share on social media using the hashtag Demis Hellen one note technique. Get this flying around and just let everybody else know that you know that makes music to come and see the video and start drawing some inspiration and getting some tips and tricks under their belt. And if you do that, just tag it in there and I'll see that and I'll start responding to some people and stuff. So Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, they're the main 3 locations that I'm at. So thank you very much for watching, and I will see you in the next video.